All right, the wait is over if you are a Paddy the Baddie fan. December 10th, the T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, live on pay-per-view, UFC 282, Paddy the Baddie returns, taking on Jared Gordon. Now, Paddy Pimblett, ever since he signed with the UFC, has absolutely lived up to the hype and lived up to his own words. He said, listen, I'm going to be the new cash cow. I'm going to be the biggest star. I'm going to be a sensation and deliver in his performances, in his ring walks, in everything. And Paddy has done that right from the moment he turned up in the UFC. 3 fights so far, 3 finishes, and 3 electrifying performances. As I said, not only on the ring walks, my God, they are something to behold. In the fights, 3 finishes, and then in the octagon, on the mic afterwards, this man is the whole package. He absolutely delivers every single time. But of course, he's going to step up in competition. If you are a hater on Paddy the Baddie, you're going to say, hey, listen, his opponents are handpicked. They're not difficult opponents. Well, guess what? They were in the UFC. They were doing very, very well. Jordan Levitt, his last opponent, had a record of 10-1, a submission ace. And Paddy beat him at his own game. Before that, Kazula Vargas. Kazula Vargas is a tough guy. Heavy, heavy hands. Paddy took him down, got the submission. And before that, when he made his UFC debut at the Apex, and I had the pleasure of calling all 3 of those fights, he went up against Luigi Benjamini. He got tagged. But guess what? That doesn't matter because he got the knockout in the first round. And he said to me, didn't he? He said, lad,
I'm a scouser. We don't get knocked out.
And that went absolutely viral. And speaking of that first fight at the Apex, there's not much of a crowd at the Apex. That place was on fire. And then when he followed up fighting in March and in July at the O2 Arena, he said, listen, when I make my walkouts, they are something special. They are something to behold. And he was absolutely right. Paddy walks out, the arena goes dark, the crowd goes crazy. He has that walkout music, which is absolutely phenomenal. And people lose their goddamn minds. And as I say, 3 fights, 3 stoppages, and 3 unforgettable experiences. Now, of course, as I say, people wanted to step up in competition. Well, wait no longer. UFC 282, as I said, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, going up against Jared Gordon. First of all, Paddy's getting the pay-per-view treatment. Okay, Jiri Prochazka taking on Glover Teixeira, a rematch of a sensational fight back in Singapore earlier this year. Tremendous main event. There's a great co-main event, and before that, it is Paddy the Baddie. Okay. He said that he's outgrown the O2 Arena. The O2 Arena is about the same size as the T-Mobile, but getting the American treatment, bringing him out to America, making the fan base even bigger, you know. And I'll be honest, outside of Conor McGregor, I have never seen a rise so quick. Paddy seems like the whole package. He can get the job done on the microphone. He can get the job done inside the octagon. He can sell a fight. He can talk shit. He can make you interested. Even between fights, all this talk of ballooning up, you know, getting massively overweight, and people are quick to criticize. Look, listen, Paddy shows up on weight and in shape, which is more than a lot of people do. Some people miss weight. Some people show up and they're not even in shape. Some people are blowing out of their ass after 1 round. And that is an absolute pet hate of mine, right? If you're calling yourself a professional fighter, you should be able to go the distance at a reasonably high output because A, that is your job. So if the man's enjoying some cheeseburgers and a bit of pizza in between fights, so goddamn what? The man doesn't drink alcohol. He is very, very disciplined. When it comes to fight camp, the man turns it on. Now, let's look at the matchup. Jared Gordon, this man's no walk in the park, and he's going to be a tough fight for Paddy. Comes into this one, he's got a record of 19 wins, 5 losses, 6 knockouts, with 2 submissions. Now, last time he went out against Leonardo Santos. Leonardo Santos, very, very tough fighter. Again, good record, 18-6. When you look at Leonardo Santos, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Of course, to Jared Gordon, Clay Guida, and before that, Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson's no walk in the park. And Grant Dawson is one of the only men to beat Jared Gordon recently. When you go to Jared Gordon, okay, as I said, 4 out of his last 5 fights, they've all been victories against Chris Fishgold, fighting out of Liverpool, a very, very good wrestler. Jared beat him at his own game, beat Joe Selecki by split decision, lost to Grant Dawson. As I said, Grant Dawson is a grappling phenom. And then last time out, beat Leonardo Santos. So 4-1. Coming into this one, he trains at Sanford MMA, now called Killcliff MMA. As we know, Sanford MMA, one of the best places to train on planet Earth. Some of the greatest fighters in the world down there. Gilbert Burns, of course, Vicente Luque, Henry Hoof, the head coach. The man is a phenomenal coach. So, got a good coach. He's got tons of training partners and he's got a lot of momentum behind him. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's going to be interesting. That is one of Paddy's very strong areas. That is what he likes to do. He's known for his submissions. You know, he's known for flying triangles. He's known for a lot of fancy stuff. But Jared Gordon, I believe, has the ability, A, to take him down, and then B, stifle the ground attack of Paddy Pimblett on the floor. I think when it comes to wrestling, I think Jared's probably got the advantage there. When it comes to striking, though, I give Paddy the Baddie. I give him the advantage in striking. I give him the advantage in momentum. I give him the advantage in charisma, for sure, because there's not many as charismatic as him. But the confidence is a big, big thing coming into this one. Think back to Conor McGregor in the early days, how confident he was, how he would call his shot, how he would predict these things and then get it right. It set the world on fire. Now, of course, everybody tries to emulate that. They want to copy that. Some try, a lot fail. Paddy, I don't think he's trying to emulate that. He's being himself. This is how he was back in Cage Warriors. He had a younger demographic, a lot of teenagers showing up to the fights, wearing his t-shirts. He has always promised, always said that this would be the impact that he would have on this sport. And so far, the man has delivered every single time. And now, of course, fighting in Las Vegas, it's a special feeling. Paddy's from Liverpool. I'm from just down the street. We're both from Lancashire, the northwest of England. To know that when you're younger and you have a skill for fighting, for combat, for martial arts, and you really harness that, you put the time and effort in, and now here you are, fighting on pay-per-view in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the T-Mobile Arena. That is an unforgettable feeling. And that is something that just reinforces what you're doing and is going to make you hungry for even more. So as I said before, Paddy always pushes himself in training camp, always shows up in shape, on weight, all the rest of it, and always does his homework. You know, for all the talk of him getting fat between fight camps, he's training with some of the best people in the world. Yes, he's touring America, he's doing appearances, but he's also getting the training in at the same time. So Paddy's getting better all the time. But Jared Gordon, this is a man that also, you know, has had a tough road. The man has been very open about some of his life struggles. He was a heroin addict, he was a drug addict, and he's told me some wild stories. He has been, you know, to almost the bottom of the barrel and managed to claw his way back up to get back into a respectable life. And now he's a fixture inside the UFC. So Jared Gordon is no walk in the park. As I said, he's a tremendous grappler. He's got heavy hands and he's beat some very, very good competition in the UFC so far. So this is an intriguing matchup. I think Jared Gordon's probably going to approach it from a wrestling standpoint. We might see Paddy try and keep the fight on the feet, but we just don't know. What I do know, that this is the step up in competition that makes sense. Of course, we're not going to throw Paddy to a top 5, top 10 guy just yet, but he does need to progress. I think Jared Gordon is a good, logical step up. Both guys have a lot to gain. If Paddy can get the win here, that'll be 4 in a row in the UFC against Jared Gordon. By far the biggest win for Jared Gordon. If he can derail the hype train, steal a little bit of his stardom, you know, and then win 5 out of his last 6, well, then Jared Gordon's doing big things as well. So there it is, December 10th, UFC 282. Going down in beautiful Las Vegas. Who do you think wins? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about the matchup? Who do you think wins? And by the way, if you haven't already done it, subscribe and ring the bell. Talk to you soon.